Coming up later today on the live stream, we'll be coming to you from Arizona, where Trump talks to the kids of Turning Point USA in the My Pillow Corona Bowl 2. Should start around 6:30 Eastern Time. But last time he talked to the Turning Point kids, they got the date of his inauguration wrong, but only by 3 years.
Everyone said it couldn't happen. That's Donald Trump and his family.
Donald J. Trump has been selected as the
So brace yourself for an expected crowd of 127 billion and jump on in to the live stream. Welcome, everyone. The president has already started speaking. I've got it on delayed here, which is fine. We can all catch up together. And I'm just going to keep Mike Pence rolling in the top right-hand corner as soon as I see somebody coming in here. That's right, Ruth Ann is in here. Hello, Ruth Ann. Let's get going on the speech.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Kim.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
USA, USA, USA.
Thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead. Sit down. We'll be here for a little while. Sit down. Thank you also, Lee Greenwood. Thank you to Lee Greenwood.
Yep.
But I'm thrilled to be in Arizona with thousands of patriotic young Americans who stand up tall for
Peter.
America and refuse to kneel to the radical left.
Somebody just kneeled.
That's true.
There. Wait.
There is something going on. You feel it, right? You feel the spirit?
There.
You know, the other night,
I feel it.
a speech I made on Saturday night in a very good place, and we had a great evening, and the ratings came out. You saw that on television. It was the #1 show in Fox history for Saturday night. #1. Ratings. For them, it's all about the ratings. I know that the other folks back there, CNN and MSDNC, I know they're very happy.
Yes, it should be up on
They're
YouTube.
very happy to see
I don't know what's
Fox
going
said
on with
the
the audio
#1
delay here
show.
either. We'll figure it out.
This is the #1 show in the history of Fox News. That's pretty good. Saturday night. Let us also show our appreciation to my good friend Charlie. I'll tell you, Charlie is some piece of work.
Trying to fix the audio sick here. Go ahead and say something, Trump. When you're ready. Go ahead and interrupt
Unbelievable spirit. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But the radical left, they hate our history, they hate our values, and they hate everything we prize as Americans, and we're right.
Just you.
Because our country didn't grow great with them. It grew great with you and your thought process and your ideology. The left-wing mob is trying to demolish our heritage so they can replace it with a new repressive regime that they alone control. They're tearing down statues, desecrating monuments, and purging dissenters. It's not the behavior of a peaceful political movement. It's the behavior of totalitarians and tyrants and people that don't love our country. They don't love our country. The left is not trying to promote justice or equality or lift up the downtrodden. They have one goal, the pursuit of their own political power for whatever reason, but that's their goal. That really seems to be their goal.
Hey, Dr. Lisa.
Their goal or their sickness. And if you give power to people that demolish monuments and attack churches and seize city streets and set fire to buildings, then nothing is sacred and no one is safe. We stopped them last night. Do you see that? Andrew Jackson.
It's a Fox live stream feed. Yeah, I want to see the audience too. Before they showed the audience, and there was a fight.
Some to jail, and others are going to jail. The problem we have is states. They're weak. They're weak. Many of the governors, many of the mayors, you see what's going on. And it's, by the way, just so you understand, it's all liberal, Democrat states. Could you imagine if Sleepy Joe ever became president, this country would be a mess.
Oh, so the president's responsible for the country.
Everything. Sleepy Joe. And he wouldn't call the shots.
Can you imagine?
He would have nothing to do with it. Lock him in the Oval Office. Let's just do what we want to do. That's why, and you know, today he's with Obama, President Obama. It only took him, how long, a year and a half to endorse him?
That's my verbiage.
What did it take, a year and a half to endorse him? Even after he won, he didn't endorse him for a long time.
No, it was almost immediate.
And he's fighting for Sleepy Joe. You know, he really feels strongly about it, so strongly that he was fighting. He wanted everybody to win, but Joe won.
No shots to the
But if
audience
you
yet,
remember
Chris.
in my campaign, he fought harder than crooked Hillary. President Obama fought me harder. He said, you cannot let him win. You cannot this.
That
he was
is
all
the
over the place.
best
I said, this
Obama
guy's
impersonation.
spending all of his time campaigning against me.
You cannot let me
Who
win.
won? That's right.
That's what Obama said. You cannot let me win.
And don't forget.
Yes, Marcy, that's for you. Hey, say hello to Maurice
because
for
of
me.
him and Biden. I'm only here because of them. Because if they did a good job, we wouldn't have been here.
Are they his parents?
There would have been no reason. So I'm only here because of President Obama and the job he did, and Sleepy Joe Biden and the job that he didn't do, other than he did a good job for his son. A good job for his son.
So you're here because Joe Biden did a good job for his son?
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. People were very unhappy. The fake news doesn't report it. They were very unhappy. There was tremendous dissent, tremendous anger. A lot of people in this audience, I can tell you. But
yes, Nick.
We're here today to declare that we will never cave to the left wing and the left wing intolerance. We will never.
So you're intolerant of the left-wing intolerance.
Surrender to mob violence, and we will uphold American freedom, equality, and justice for every citizen of every background. Very strong. That's who we are. That is what we believe, and that is why we must prevail on November 3rd. We have to prevail. Get out there. So we're honored to be joined by a great gentleman, a great governor of this state. He won by a lot of votes. And I said to him, Governor, how am I doing? He said, you're doing really well. I said, good.
Oh, he
Because he
praised
knows
you.
better than
Okay, well, he's a
anybody.
good
He
guy
really
then.
has done a tremendous job as governor. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey. Where is Doug?
The Deuce.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you. And somebody who we need to keep in the Senate, a woman who works very hard. I just got back from something you like, the border wall, Martha McSally.
She's not in the Senate. She lost. She's trying to get back into the Senate.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you.
How is Arizona doing anyway?
Thank you. Thank you, Martha. We got to get her in. And Mark Kelly, who she's running against, is very weak on China and lots of other things.
But he's an astronaut.
If between Biden and Kelly and these people, they get in, China will own this country, and they don't own us at all. We have done great. Before the plague set in, before the plague came over, right?
Well, the plague is here, though. That's
we were
kind of
doing
how
the
reality
greatest.
works.
We had the greatest economy we ever had, the greatest job numbers we ever had, the greatest of everything. There wasn't a thing where we weren't number one. We were beating them,
GDP,
and they were having a tough year.
inflation.
67th. It was one of the worst years they had in 67 years.
Number gets higher every time.
We were doing great. And then they said, there's a plague coming over from China. Here it comes.
Oh,
what
there's
a
China.
disgrace. What a disgrace. And now you saw last week the jobs numbers, the biggest ever. You saw the retail sales numbers, the biggest ever, number one.
We went down to 19% unemployment and back up to 16.
And we're going to have a very good third quarter. And interesting, we're going to have a good third
Trump
quarter.
time.
And right when those numbers are announced, you have your election. So that's hopefully a sign from up there.
From
but
China?
I think we're going to do very well.
So
And they are are trying to do their best to keep the country shut down and closed because they'd love those numbers not to be good, but there's not a lot they're going to be able
We
to
hate
do
bad
about
numbers.
it. Not a lot. But we want to get Martha in, and I want to thank
bad numbers.
Martha for being here. Governor, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being such a great friend, too. Thank you.
He always says
And
the
we
jerk-off
also
thing.
have some of your warriors,
God is
great
everywhere, Chris.
representatives, and they fought with me on the impeachment hoax. One of the great
40%.
hoaxes based on a telephone conversation that was perfect. I'm the only one that got impeached in history, hopefully will be the only one, that got impeached over a perfect telephone call. Like perfect. Perfect. This was like the perfect call. I said, wait a minute. I said, we don't need lawyers, just keep reading. Thank
I'm
goodness
just
we
listening
had
to the
it
audience.
transcribed. It was very good that we had it. Because remember, Adam Schiff got up and he made up a phony story.
Yeah.
He made
After
up
you
a
release the
phony
transcripts,
story.
you're going to say it's
That's
before.
what they're all about. I said it before. They're vicious. Paul Gosar, stand up. Paul, where's Paul?
He's
Paul,
ripping
stand
through
up.
this. Usually he goes on for 45 minutes about Adam
Paul.
Schiff.
Great guy.
Like a gangster. He
He's a man
called
I
me a
spoke to him
gangster.
this morning, Andy Biggs. Andy. Great guy. Thank you, Andy. Freedom Caucus. Now that Mark Meadows is our great chief, he's our chief. Mark Meadows. By the way,
Chief.
Mark Meadows is here too. Let's have it for Mark Meadows. Where's Mark Meadows? But Andy took over, and the Freedom Caucus is doing great. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Somebody I got to know very well during the hoax. Debbie, let's go. She's great.
Debbie, no, let's not go.
That's another one.
We did get to know her
Oh,
well
there
enough
she is.
in the impeachment
She
hearings.
just stood out on television, and it was like she popped. She did great. I said, you're so lucky you know me, Debbie. Because she really was one of the people, she stood out. Thank you, Deb. Thank you.
So she asked the questions, and
Another
she's lucky
warrior,
she knows
David
you.
Schweikert. David, thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you. And a man who's very understated.
Yeah, this is new
He
makeup.
just gets it done behind the scenes, never likes to go on television, never likes talking a lot. But he's a great congressman from one of my favorite states, Florida, Matt Gaetz.
Why is Matt Gaetz in Arizona?
Matt Gaetz.
Does he have another kid there?
He keeps it low-key and simple, right? No, actually, he keeps it up and not simple. But he's
With
great,
God
and
in
he does
China?
a fantastic job. Thank you, Matt. Along with a lot of great people, Arizona Treasurer Kimberly Yee,
Oh, thanks for the reminder,
Kimberly,
Kim.
thank
Kevin
you.
Lee Daughter still doesn't have her
House
$1,200.
Speaker Rusty Bowers. Rusty. Rusty, thank you, Rusty. Thank you. Senate President, wow, that's a big deal. Karen Fann. Thank you. So, Madam President, how am I doing in Arizona, okay? She says yes.
Whoops.
She knows. She knows. And Navajo Nation Vice President Myron Lazier. Thank you. I also want to recognize a truly courageous woman, Angel Mom. Is a friend of mine, too, by the way. One of the first people I met
Oh, she's your friend.
when I announced I
That's,
was going to run.
that's always
What
the most
she has
important
gone through with illegal immigration, nobody will ever go through. Hopefully, nobody ever has to go through. Unfortunately, people will have to do it. But she is one of the first people I met, and she lost a magnificent child to an illegal immigrant, and it's just a horrible thing. And she spent her life, she spent the last long period of years fighting and fighting and fighting, and people have gotten to respect her greatly. Mary Ann Mendoza, wherever you might be. A lot of guts. He's got a lot of guts. And thank you, a very special thank you to Pastor Luke Barnett and the Dream City Church for hosting us. Where is the pastor? Pastor, is that the pastor? Hey, a good-looking, where's the pastor?
A good-looking
I want to see this guy. Oh, he's good. I'll be here. I'll get here someday. Yeah, I'll be here some Sunday morning. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a church.
Great job, Pastor. I hear great
So
things.
that is
Thank you very much.
3,000.
We're also joined by a man who became
church,
such a superstar overnight. You know, I put him there as a little bit of a filler, to be honest.
I wish
He
they
did a
would
great
show the
job.
church, though.
He was the
in
ambassador
the audience
to
from the front, so we could see if anybody
Germany,
was wearing masks.
right? And he was like, you know,
Yeah, I saw that
I
as
needed
well.
somebody to sit, warm out a chair. He wore out the chair. He didn't warm it. He wore it out, right, Matt Gaetz? He wore out the
Their
chair.
air conditioning system is a
Richard
miracle.
Grinnell.
I just checked on Kevin Lee Daughter's payment from the IRS. Still unavailable, the status.
What a guy. Where's Matt? No? Say hello. You
I gotta call my
are
congresswoman.
fantastic.
Hey, Linda.
Oh, the picture of him walking into the DOJ with a big satchel.
Hey,
And I
Eric.
realize what good shape he's in. You got a store. And he's walking.
We got a story.
And those guys, and he had lots of gold in those satchels, didn't he, huh? Because I'll tell you, we caught him. Let's see what happens. But we caught him. Right? We caught
Jesus Christ, super spreader. That's
him.
from
And
Mercy.
a friend of mine that did a
Did
great
Maurice
job
make that
as
up?
the NASA
It's-
CFO.
Hi, Kelly.
And you see, we've totally rebuilt NASA. We're sending rockets up now for the first
You're
time.
gonna need it.
Jeff DeWitt.
This is a nice
Jeff
Zinfandel.
DeWitt. Jeff, hi.
With ice. It's going to be a long one. I prefer my Zin chilled.
Everyone in this room is bound together by a shared set of moral principles and enduring
Virginity.
truths. We believe the United States of America is the greatest and most righteous nation that has ever existed. We're going to keep it that way.
Well, you know, the Vatican.
We believe that every
pretty
citizen
righteous.
has the fundamental right to think, to speak, to live, and pray according to their own conscience. We believe that the beloved heroes of American history
Which is why
should
we
not
don't
be
want
torn
Muslims in
down
here.
by militant mobs, but held up as an example to the world.
Of what?
Now they're
Traitors?
after George Washington. I said, what did he do wrong, George Washington? Thomas Jefferson, we stopped them. They were heading toward the Jefferson Memorial. They couldn't care less. I think half of them don't even know who Thomas Jefferson is. How about Ulysses
Do they know who
S.
Frederick
Grant?
Douglass is?
They want the Confederate soldiers, but all of a sudden
Juneteenth?
they go after Grant. But he's the one that defeated the Confederate soldiers. So what's that all about?
Yeah, what's that all about,
How about
Ulysses?
Gandhi?
Yeah?
How about Churchill?
Uh-huh.
You know, Churchill, because
Was
this
a
is going outside of our
tremendous
country
racist.
now. No, we'll stop it. Don't worry. Just
Yes,
don't
this
worry
is a
about
campaign
it. 10
rally.
years is a long time to spend in prison.
No one's going to spend any time in prison.
So our heroes are not a source of shame.
Source of
They are
shame.
an example and something that you can all look up to, a true example of greatness, a point of pride, and we will honor them and cherish them forever. We will cherish them. And we have to cherish our past.
That's
We have
true,
to
listen,
cherish
yeah.
good or bad. We have to understand our past. We have to understand our history. Because if we don't know our history, it could all happen again. Have to know our history.
This is the 1920s, all happening again.
We believe in law and order. We support the men and women of law enforcement. And we stand with the citizens in every city and every community and every part of our country who wish to live in safety, security, dignity, and peace.
Oh, here we go. Scanning the crowd. No masks.
And we know
Oh, this guy has a mask, but I
that
guess it's just a
American
scarf because he's a big
patriots
Dr. Burks fan.
don't bow down to foreign powers. We don't back down from left-wing bullies. And the only authority we worship is our God.
Okay. Yeah! Oh, no, that's a big deal. Woo! What are we,
These are the values our country was built upon. These are the values that unite our citizens. And these are the values that powered our civilization to its towering heights, lifting billions from
Have a good day,
poverty,
Eric.
healing disease, curing illness, and reaching new summits of scientific endeavor, artistic triumph, and human achievement. Guided by these timeless convictions, my administration has been delivering historic gains for the American people.
Is there an airplane in there for a moment?
Like no one has ever done in the first 3.5 years of a presidency. Not even close. It's not even close. By the end of my first term, we will have close to 300 federal judges appointed and approved.
Okay.
300.
Yeah.
If you get 10, it's a lot. 300.
No. No,
An
it is
all-time
not.
record. And very importantly, we confirmed 2 great Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, you can thank Mitch for all of that. Mitch wouldn't allow the judges,
And we
including
have
the
to
Supreme Court
win
justice, during
Because
Obama.
obviously we need more justices on the Supreme Court. People don't realize how important that is.
No, we have 9.
I've
That's
always
good.
heard it's the most important thing you can do. I always said defense, but that's right there. Supreme Court justices and judges, and we are setting records. We've spent over $2 trillion to completely rebuild the awesome power of the United States military.
What about the
And I
schools?
very proudly created the 6th branch of the United States Armed Forces,
Rick.
the
How you
Space
doing, Rich?
Force.
Space Force. Thank God for the
Big
Space
deal.
Force.
That's a big deal.
Hey, has anyone watched that on Netflix?
That's a big
I'd
deal.
like to
You
hear your
think of just
feedback.
that. If you did just that, that's like, oh, that's a good presidency. Think of that. That's one of many, many things. We'll go over a few of them, but many, many things. So the Air Force was the last one. That was 75 years ago.
Uh-huh.
The Air Force, 75 years ago. We just created another branch.
That was already part
We're
of the
going
Air
to have
Force.
a general, nice general. We have right now on
nice
the
general.
Joint Chiefs of Staff a full deal. And that's a great honor because space is going to be very important. At first, they smiled when I came up with the idea. I never talked about it in the campaign. I don't think I ever mentioned it once. It's just an idea that I learned as I was going through military. And really an amazing thing. Space
As
is
you were
going to be
going
so
through
important. That'll
military?
be one of our most important of all. And it's an honor. We're now doing a
You never went through
hydrosonic.
military.
I call them super dupers missile.
Super duper
Goes
missiles.
17 times faster than the fastest missile right now.
That's super duper. I hate you. You hate me. We're watching
We passed VA
the Trump
choice, a big
rally.
deal. And VA accountability, a big deal. They've been trying for 50 years, almost 50 years on both. Accountability, they couldn't fire people that treated our vets badly. Now we can say, you're fired. Oh, by the way, you had a big deal.
Thanks, Obama.
That's right.
2014.
That's
Veterans
right. You had a big
accountability.
deal in Arizona. I've been reading about
Yeah.
it for years now, Doug, where they had somebody stealing in the VA, and they caught him cold, like 500,000, right? That's a lot. They stole 500,000. They couldn't fire him. They couldn't fire him. So between the unions and civil service and all of the things, they couldn't fire him. But we made it so that you can now say, you're fired, get out.
Well, he's going to need that 500,000 because he's not going to get his unemployment anytime soon.
And they'll give our veterans the care they so richly deserve. You know, choice is so big. Instead of waiting for a week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, you have no idea how bad it was.
Yep.
If they have to wait, and they have great doctors, we have great doctors in the VA. If you have to wait, if for any reason there's a delay, you go outside, you get a doctor, you get fixed up, we pay the bill. And it sounds expensive, it's cheap. It's cheap. We save money. Most importantly, we save lives. People would get online and they're okay, not feeling well. By the time they see a doctor, in some cases, they are terminally ill. Mm-hmm. It would take weeks and weeks. And now we have VA choice. That's why you see good
Thanks,
stories.
Obama.
91%
2014.
approval
Obama.
rating. Okay, 91% approval rating. VA choice. Nobody thought we were going to get that one done. We passed the largest package of tax cuts and tax reforms, and we passed the largest number of regulation cuts by a factor of many times. No other administration, even though in some cases 8 years and in one case more, nobody has cut regulation like we've cut regulation, not even close. And it's one of the reasons we did so well before the plague, and we're doing so well after the plague. It's going away. We eliminated Obamacare's unfair individual mandate.
That's Obama signing the Veterans Choice Act in 2014.
For the privilege of not buying bad health insurance. That's really what it was. You had the privilege of not buying, and you had to pay for it. Not too good, so we got rid of it. That was a big deal. That was one of the most unpopular things anywhere or on any subject. We will always protect people with pre-existing conditions, and you have Martha's pledge that she is going to do that also. So we're going to do that.
We won't tell you the health plan until after the election.
And the Democrats can't make that pledge because they're going to raise your taxes like crazy. I never heard, all my life, I think Doug can maybe explain it, but Doug, all my life, I'd watch. And the best politicians, they want to cut taxes, not raise taxes. All of a sudden, we're in an age where things are very different, let's face it. Ripping down statues. One of the things is the Democrats want to raise your taxes to a level that nobody can even believe.
I don't believe it.
And it won't be nearly enough to pay for what they want to do. You talk about bad health care. It's just going to be a disaster. But they want to raise everybody's taxes. I always thought it was supposed to be the other way, right? But let's see how they do on the third. I don't think they're going to do too well. We passed Right to Try to give critically ill patients access to life-saving cures so they don't have to travel all around the world and see if they can find.
The states already have that.
We've had tremendous success with that.
Two people took advantage of it.
They've been trying to get that one done for 40 years.
Because it's a states thing. The medical is states.
And I've just come from the Arizona border.
Where I signed it.
The completion of over 220 miles of brand new, beautiful border wall.
Wasn't brand new. A lot of it's replacement for a wall that was already there. Barriers, etc. Oh, build the wall, build the wall. Mexico. I see one mask.
You don't hear about the wall. They don't want to talk about the wall anymore. Do you know?
One mask.
Never has the Democrat Party fought so hard against something. And do you notice they never talk about the wall? Because in the end, they gave it up. They gave up. We won. We're building it, fully funded. I could build numerous walls with all the money I have, fully funded. But you know why they don't talk about it? Because it's a bad subject. Remember, they used to say it's obsolete. We want drones. Oh, great, the drone's flying around. We're going to watch everyone pour into our country, the drone. Remember, they said the wall's obsolete. And I said today, nobody heard it. I thought it was sort of, I think I said it, but I'm sure people have said it over the years. You're in an industry, in many cases, you have a computer. In about 2 weeks, it's old. It's obsolete, right? In technology, I said to some of the people, I meet them all, I say, the problem with your business, it gets obsolete quick. Two things that will never be obsolete. A wheel and a wall, right? A wheel and a wall. Never.
Stones, walking, fire, food.
And they'd say, that wall is obsolete. With modern technology, no, modern technology is like, let's watch everybody pour in. Now, we have a wall, so we've built 220 miles. We're going to have, and it's every single element. I met with Border Patrol, who are fantastic, by the way. Every single element they wanted. You have to see through, which makes sense. You have to do all of the different, we have cameras on it, we have sensors on it. It is just great, 30 feet high.
Mexico has to be able to pass the check through it.
Very hard.
I stood there waiting for 10, 15 minutes.
Provision on the top.
No check.
We have the whole deal. and it's very powerful. And by the way, where that wall is, nobody's getting through. Nobody gets through. We put a chunk, California, off the record. California was saying, please, can we have the wall? This is California. You know, they didn't want the wall. They didn't want the wall.
You're going to tell us who said that?
But they wanted the wall, right? Because right next to San Diego is a wonderful town in Mexico. You know the town. I won't mention the name. But they're heavily infected with COVID. Did you ever notice? I said the other night, did anybody see my speech the other night on Saturday night?
7,000 infections in Baja, which is in Mexico, Tijuana. 10,000 infections
there's never been anything where they have so many names. I could give you 19 or 20 names for that, right? It's got all different names. Wuhan.
Oh, are we going to kung fu here?
Wuhan was catching on.
Yeah.
Coronavirus, right?
The audience is shouting. Kung fu, yeah.
Kung fu.
Doubling down. Is Kellyanne Conway around right now?
COVID-19, COVID. I say, what's the 19? COVID-19. Some people can't explain what the 19. Give me the COVID-19. I said, that's an odd name. I could give you many, many names.
Yep,
Some
David
people call it the
Mickelson just
Chinese
reported
flu,
smugglers
the
cut
China
a
flu,
truck-sized hole that you can drive right through in the wall.
China, as opposed to China, the China. I've never seen anything like it, but here's the story. We are going to be stronger than ever before, and it's going to be soon. And I think you'll remember, you know, now Biden's going around like he's a tough guy. You know, he doesn't know where the hell he is. Where are you, Joe? Joe, where are you, Joe? Tell me where you are, Joe. But he's going around, I stood up for China. No, his son walked out with $1.5 billion to manage. And what he did, where's Hunter? Remember I said, where's Hunter? They came out with this T-shirt and some guy made a fortune. Where's Hunter? By the way, where is Hunter? Man, he did well as vice president. Could you imagine how Hunter's going to do if this guy ever won? And the father could honestly say, I have no idea what's going on. You know, he could raise his hand. Is that Kaylee? Where's Kaylee? Where is Kaylee? Where is Kaylee? Where is Kaylee? What a job she's done, our press secretary. Where is she? Where is she? Press secretary. I mean, Sarah's going to be the governor of Arkansas pretty soon, I hope.
I was just trying to make
Sean's got his own show. And this one here, she could run whatever else she wanted, but I said, don't run. Don't run, just stay here. We like the job you're doing. No, we're doing great. I stood up to China like no other administration in history. For decades, they've ripped us off. They ripped us off like nobody, and I charged them a little thing called massive tariffs.
Biggest tax in American history.
Billions and billions of dollars. They devalued their currency. And, you know, they like to say our people paid. No.
Yep, we did. That's the way it works.
They devalued their currency in order to pay it.
Which
and they
then
also put money
raises
out.
the cost
Otherwise,
of
they
American
wouldn't have
goods
been
higher.
able to sell their product.
But got screwed.
What happened for many years, there's nobody ever that ripped off the United States like China.
China's
Nobody.
GDP last year, 6.1%.
Nobody.
His GDP last year, 2.3%.
So now we did a deal, but you know, the ink wasn't dry when the plague flew in. The ink wasn't dry. The deal was great. Everybody was happy. I was thrilled. $250 billion worth of purchases over a short period of time. All great. But the ink wasn't dry, and we got hit by the plague, so I'm not too happy about that. But the long, slow surrender is over because today and every day we are putting now America first. America comes first.
He thinks he's America.
We sparked a revolution in domestic energy production, and the United States is now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere on planet Earth.
Thanks, Obama. It's true.
America, as of a couple of years ago, is no longer energy dependent. We are now energy dominant.
During Obama.
And because our energy use went down so much during this pandemic,
Yeah.
it was a very, very bad period of time because we have 10 million jobs, energy jobs, and now we have the oil price up where it should be, and yet people are paying very little for gasoline. That's like the perfect thing,
It's
right?
like 40
That's
bucks
the
a barrel.
perfect
That's
thing
not
to do.
sustainable.
And I signed groundbreaking criminal justice reform, which nobody was able to get done. Very important. Very important. Very important. I secured record and permanent funding for historically black colleges and universities. Nobody does that.
Didn't secure it, he just
And we
restored
created
it. It expired,
opportunity
he signed
zones
it again.
along with Tim Scott.
Exactly what was supposed to happen.
And since then, countless jobs and $100 billion
It's a
of
good
new
point,
investment have poured into 9,000 of our most distressed neighborhoods in the country. 9,000.
Rick Mackey says it just occurred to me
So
he should,
think of it.
he should get some
I
sort of
did criminal
recycling board.
justice reform.
Yes, this is the same
we
speech.
did a lot
it will
of
be
work
the same.
on prison reform. We did opportunity zones. Think of this. Think of all we've done. And we've taken care of the black colleges and universities, and nobody talks
Transshipping,
about
Kelly.
it. But I have to talk about it. And you know
Hey,
what?
blaze on, everybody.
Our black communities know it, and I think you're going to see something really great happen because they understand it. They really understand it. And I'll tell you what.
It's funny, Marcy.
Whether it's any community you talk about, but if you take a look at those numbers from pre-virus, but you take a look at them in a year from now, you watch. And your 401s right now, your 401ks,
Yes, but
I don't think you want to have somebody
The
else
virus.
playing with them because you're just about at a record high, and you put
No.
the wrong person in, they
No, you're
will be obliterated. They will be obliterated. So we're fighting for school choice because we know that access to education is a civil right. It's a civil right. School choice. Did you ever see two
This is where
parties
we
so
are.
diametrically opposed to each other? I mean,
That's
it's-
where we were.
Who can be opposed to that? But it's so important, but the Democrats will never, ever allow that to happen. Last
This is
month,
where he said you should
we
buy.
returned
27.9.
American astronauts to
Still not
space
back.
aboard American rockets for the first time in nearly a decade. And the United States will be the first nation to plant our beautiful American flag on planet Mars.
we've already got the rover there. We're already on Mars. I want to say there's an American flag.
And we destroyed 100% of the ISIS territorial caliphate. And the savage terrorist monsters, al-Baghdadi and Qasem Soleimani, they are both dead. 100%. 100% of the ISIS caliphate. And when I took over, that caliphate was going like this. It was a mess, but we destroyed it. No administration has accomplished more in just 3.5 years. It is. I mean, I could go after, these are just a few points. I could talk for an hour and a half just reading the
Mars.
points off. You know that.
It's not planted.
Yet, as you know, in recent months,
But there is an American flag on
America
Mars.
has faced down that unseen enemy, the virus from the distant land that spread across the globe and invaded our shores, but invaded the shores of, think of it, 188 nations. I have a friend, he's a very smart guy, said, I didn't know there were that many nations. I said, actually go
Then he's
over
not that
200.
smart.
But 188 nations that we know of. I love you too. Thank you, darling.
That is correct. It's 188.
Thank you. And tomorrow the fake news will be said he loves somebody.
By the way, there's not over 200 countries. There's
He said he
195
loves
countries.
somebody. Terrible.
FactCheck. What are we? Is there a protester?
Terrible. I'll be in big trouble, the fake news. They are terrible people.
Go back, camera.
Who are the people that stood up? I just want to stand up, please. Who said, I love you? Let's. Whoa!
Whoa, no masks. Nothing.
Sit down fast, please. Don't let them see you. That's a lot of press back there. Look at that. That's the problem. They cover all these speeches. You know, I never have a speech, Doug. I never have a speech where it's not like live television. You know, sometimes you'll have one where you can actually speak and you don't have to worry about like one little slip, one tiny little slip, one word. You could say 10 speeches, one little word. They'll say, he's lost it. No. You know who's lost it? Sleepy Joe has lost it.
Oh, he has he?
In response, we took swift and early action to ban travel from China very, very early. Remember Nancy Pelosi and that crazy group? Nancy Pelosi. She wanted to dance in the streets of Chinatown in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Long after I banned China from coming here, we saved tens of thousands of lives with that early decision. And then we made an early decision on Europe.
But tens of thousands, sure.
Yet liberal lawmakers and Democrat politicians condemned this policy. The left rejected science in favor of their fanatical devotion to borders. They want open borders, not just our southern border. This is why the left is so dangerous.
Our northern border?
They always put their ideology before your safety. It's crazy what's going on. Defund and abolish the police. How's that a good idea?
So let's all get together in a church during a pandemic. Because I put your safety first.
You know, I passed a set. I was in the White House, and there was this set, and it had Dems say, think of it.
Set? Television
defund
set?
and abolish.
Yeah, it was a television
I said, what are they going to defund?
That's a
no,
television
I said, it says defund and abolish. I said, what? What are they going to defund and abolish? I thought it was going to be something. They said, the police. I said, oh, great. I just won the election. That's great.
I think they're trying to say, some of them are trying to say 4 more years. Some of them are chanting Trump, Trump, Trump.
So in addition to
one guy's
issuing
like,
a
I want
series
more
of aggressive
beer.
travel bans,
Kavanaugh's
my
there.
administration launched the greatest national mobilization since World War II. We have done such a great job with this between the ventilators
That's what
and
happened
all
in the
of
last
these
election,
things,
David.
including testing. We're testing so much. We're now up to 27.5 million tests. I thought it was 25 because it seemed like 25 million. 27, they just told me. 27.5 million tests. Now, when you have all those tests, you have more cases. So the news conference said, they have more cases.
You have the same amount of cases whether you test or not.
If you're going to do 20, and if, let's say, other countries do 1 million,
just know
2
that
million,
you have
big
those
countries,
cases.
3 million. Now, 4 weeks ago, Germany was at 3 million tests. So I don't know what they are now, but I know they're not anywhere near where we are. So then they'll say,
Always
we
forgets
have
about
more
Russia.
cases. Now, look, we want to do testing. We want to do everything. But they use it to make us look bad.
Russia,
Because
17
of it,
million.
our mortality rate is so low. It's so great what's happened. So
That's
we want
Russia.
to test. So we do all these tests, and we find pockets, and we find people, and we find
Germany's 5
cases, and they
million.
say the cases have jumped. Instead of saying what
India,
a job
7
we're
million.
doing with testing, but we did the job with testing, and we did ventilators.
Hey,
And we
Centaur.
did.
Hey,
we
Melissa.
came up with tests that nobody's. We have so many different
It's just-
types
it's a small
of tests.
church.
We have the
It's like
5-minute test,
3,000
the
people,
10-minute
Melissa.
test. We have tests. You send them to a public lab, a private lab. We have tests. It's a lot of tests.
That's what
And
tests
other
are.
countries that have done very well with testing, they call us. They say there's nobody that's been able to do the job with.
Good point,
what you've
Mari.
done. Now the only ones I can't get to say that are the fake news media people. They can't say it.
Because we don't have enough tests. Literally, I can't get a test in Seattle yet, if I'm asymptomatic.
Someday it'll be recognized by history. Someday. But our actions and your selfless sacrifice, and that's what it was, saved hundreds of thousands of lives. We had to do it. And we did the right thing. And I'll tell you what, we did the right thing. Now we open. We got to get it open because, you know, I said, we got to get it open. People need it. You know, people get sick from the other also. It's not just from the virus. They get sick from all of the other things that happen. You know what I mean? We cut through red tape to accelerate breakthrough therapies and vaccines. We're going to have a vaccine very soon. We distributed 1.5 billion pieces of personal protective equipment. We unleashed the medical and logistical power of the United States military. And thanks to our efforts, not a single American who needed a ventilator has been denied a ventilator. That's impossible.
It is impossible. At Random has pointed out, many people died at home being too afraid to go to the hospital or being sent home from the hospital and having a sudden onset of respiratory
ventilators. People said, no, you need 4,000, maybe 5,000.
We just didn't have the space.
Anyway, we got them what we thought was right. They never needed all of them. In fact, they gave some to other people, but he didn't need 40,000 as opposed to 4,000 or 5,000. And it worked out great. Then he wanted a hospital built in the Javits Convention Center. We built it, but he didn't use it. He could have used it for the old people. It was brand new, not infected, no infection. Then he wanted the boat. He wanted the boat to come up. The beautiful, beautiful hospital ship. You know what that is called, right? And it came up. They could have used it for senior citizens. They didn't use it.
Pick one.
And it's a shame.
Does he not know anymore?
It's a shame. We're now the chief ventilator producer anywhere in the world. We're helping other countries with ventilators because ventilators are very hard to make. They're very complex. They're big and expensive. And many countries are calling us, asking for help. They need ventilators, and we're able to do it because we're making thousands of ventilators. Think of this, thousands of ventilators a week.
That's all I'm saying.
And to rescue the U.S. economy, which is happening now, we passed over $3 trillion in relief measures. We suspended student loan payments and interest for college students. And to protect jobs for young Americans,
that's a good point, David.
Like
Trump inherited more ventilators, almost 13,000, than there have been distributed.
The entry of foreign workers into our nation.
Yeah, a lot of you guys are getting censored, Alex.
And we believe that companies should hire American workers and American
students first. If I notice it, I usually let it through.
We got to go American. You know, we were down to 3.4, 3.5% unemployment, and that's one thing.
Danielle, they blocked you when you said POS.
Now we got to get it back to those numbers, then we can think, right? Then we can think about taking people in through merit, only through merit, or mostly through merit.
Lisa,
I better
they
say
blocked you when
mostly
you
because
mentioned
they'll say that's a
pre-existing
terrible
conditions.
thing. You know, you can't make a little bit of a slip. They'll say, he said only. What about this? What about that? Generally speaking,
Linda, they blocked you when you spelled shit with an asterisk.
We want American students to fill American jobs. That's the biggest difference between us and the left. We know that our first duty is to take care of our citizens. Make America great again.
Alex is on what format? I saw Alex get... no, Alex is here on YouTube. I just let that through, by the way, Lisa. That S word.
So before the plague came in, we had the best of everything. We had the best interest rates. We had the best unemployment rates. We had the best job numbers ever. We had everything. Employment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans had all reached the lowest rates ever recorded in the history of our country.
What about all Americans? All Americans. Remember that whole All Lives Matter thing?
It's amazing how many categories. Young people without a high school diploma, young people without a college diploma. We were number one on every list you can think of. Women, 75
Americans?
years.
How about on the Americans? Because that's the list I can think of.
But
Americans?
It was getting ready to hit the all-time.
But
women, it was the best in 75 years, so I have to apologize. Can you believe that?
And then
we did the best in 75 years, and I apologize to women. But we were ready to hit the all-time, And then we
You should
got
spend a
hit
lot of
by
time
something that should
apologizing
have
to
never
women.
happened because they could have stopped it. Young people have seen their wages rise by more than 10%. They've never seen anything like that.
Over a period of per capita?
We built the strongest and most prosperous economy in the history of the world, and we will do it again very, very quickly. It's happening already. We
It
just
wasn't
added
in the
2.5
history of the
million
world.
jobs last month. Think of that. That's the largest increase in the history of our country.
Those were
2.5
just
million
jobs that
in
came
one
back.
month.
We actually lost 300,000 new
And
jobs.
Just to add the topping, as I mentioned,
The topping?
the 18% in
this
retail
a shit
sales, the
Sunday?
surge was the biggest jump ever recorded in the history of our country. The
Right,
stock
because we went
market
into a depression.
in the last
and then we opened
50
back up.
days is the best stock market in history, and it went up today again, by the way. Think of that.
Yeah, think of
Think of
that.
that.
Uh-huh.
Go back a week.
We were there.
50 days, the strongest 50 days in stock market history. This is during,
Here's about a week back.
hopefully,
We're
the
down.
end of the pandemic.
We're down.
But as we fight to restore, renew, and rebuild our country, the hard left is trying to divide, denigrate, and destroy our country. The American people have watched in horror as left-wing extremists have looted businesses, violently assaulted innocent civilians, and brutally injured hundreds and hundreds of police officers, our great police officers.
You know who burned down the Wendy's in Atlanta? White woman.
They
You know who
even
burned up the cop cars in
vandalized,
Seattle?
That's right,
White
the
woman.
Lincoln Memorial. The Lincoln Memorial. The radical left thinks the future belongs to them. No, the future belongs to you. It belongs to people that love our country.
My incomplete sentences are due to this, Kelly.
So we're
That's
not
my
going to take
greatest sin.
moral lectures from the same left-wing ideologues who oppose school choice, who support deadly sanctuary
Yeah,
cities,
they're making that
who want to defund our police, defund and abolish our police.
They're
Think
making
of it,
school
defund and
choice
abolish
the
is now
new
their
caravan.
theme. And who preside over the violence and mayhem of the 20 most dangerous cities in America, 20 for 20, 20 most dangerous, run by Democrats, and it'll happen to our country
Because
if a guy
democracy.
like Joe Biden gets in. Because Joe Biden has no control over what's happening.
So
they won't
the
even
mayhem
be talking to
is
him.
because
The
Joe
murder rate in
Biden as
Detroit
president
and
will have no
Baltimore is
control.
higher than that of El Salvador,
But the mayhem
Guatemala,
now-
or Afghanistan. But the left launches no protests over these travesties. They're travesties.
He's never
because
read
it
these
doesn't
before.
serve their radical agenda. Think of that. Tougher than Afghanistan. All run by Democrats. While their movement is based on hate, ours is based on love. Love of our family, love of our nation, and love of our fellow citizens.
Love of Muslims, love of immigrants, love of refugees, love of common sense, love of wearing masks and proper hygiene.
We embrace the noble vision of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and believe that people should not be judged based on the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
Okay, judging you? You suck. You're a terrible human being. And that's just the content of your character. It's got nothing to do with the orange.
This is a choice of two futures. The left's vision of disunity and discord, or our vision of equal opportunity and equal justice. Every American should take a long look at the bedlam in Seattle, because that's exactly what will come to every city near you, every suburb and community in America, if the radical left Democrats are put in charge.
It's beautiful outside
They want to
today.
abolish ICE. Do you have any
might go for a
idea
walk.
how patriotic ICE people are? I know them. They are very tough. I agree.
I'm not seeing any mayhem, but there's a couple of boats on the water. Is that?
They're very tough. I agree. They like to fight. I agree. But you don't want to do it. Look, I'm looking at some pretty tough guys right here. Look.
Oh.
You're not going to do it.
I want to
He's
see
not
the tough
going
guys.
into a into an MS-13 nest. Swinging now.
Show the tough guys.
These guys are tough. They're smart. They're getting them out by the thousands. They're taking MS-13 out of our country by the thousands.
$20 says he's pointing right at the black kids in the third row.
Get rid of ICE, abolish bail. They want no bail anymore. Just, we put you in for murder. It's okay. Come back whenever you have a chance. You see what's going on in some places like Philadelphia, what's happening in Philadelphia, what's happening in other cities.
Oh,
look at what's going on in Chicago. What's that all about? Chicago is a great city.
Yeah, you said you were going to fix it.
But they want to abolish borders and abolish every police department in the country. The Democrats are also trying to rig the election by sending out tens of millions of mail-in ballots, using the China virus as the excuse for allowing people not to go to the polls. Hey, we have a virus coming. We have to send. Think of it, California.
You can't go to the polls in Washington.
He's going to be sending out millions and millions of ballots. Well, where are they going? Where are these ballots going?
To the voters?
Who's getting them?
Is this a trick question? The
Who is
citizens?
not getting them?
The non-citizens?
Section that's Republican. Will they be stolen from mailboxes as they get put in by the mailmen?
The televisions
Will they be taken from the mailmen and the mailwomen?
So the mailmen and the mailwomen are stealing the ballots.
Who is signing them? Who's signing them? What, are they signed at a kitchen table and sent in?
Yeah, exactly what you did.
Will they be counterfeited by groups inside our nation?
They can't be. They have security codes.
Will they be counterfeited maybe by the millions by foreign powers who don't want to see Trump win because nobody has been tougher on trade or making our country great again? Nobody.
There's no reason to print up ballots.
Mail-in ballots is a disaster for our country.
Oh, they work great
it's going
in
to
Washington.
End up
they
in a
have
big
for 20 years.
Look, just forget about all of this
Oregon,
stuff. Forget
Utah,
about speeches and teleprompters
Colorado,
and all of that.
Every state has absentee ballots. The military.
Who's getting them?
Everybody in the military uses absentee ballots.
Who's not getting them? Think of it.
You use absentee ballots.
It's going to be fraud all over the place. And if you look right now,
Kayleigh McEnany has voted 11 times.
Look at all of the disputes they're having on mail-in ballots. A friend of mine, who's a great guy, had a son who passed away 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
Yeah.
He came to see me the other day.
Is that son voting?
He said they just sent to my son Robert.
Yeah.
A mail-in ballot.
Okay.
He died 7 years ago.
Then he's not going to vote.
There's no way they can control that.
The dead guy's not going to vote. I promise you.
You introduce something in the middle of an election year. And you have something where it's very complex. You have no time.
Every year's an election year.
To fix this very complex process. It's very complex.
Every state has absentee ballots. This will be, in my opinion, the
most corrupt election in the history of our country.
It's already started.
And we cannot let
China,
this happen. They want
Ukraine,
it to happen so bad.
Perfect call.
We believe in the sacred principle of one person, one vote.
Yeah.
And that's why we are fighting.
Getting rid of the Electoral College.
Of our elections.
No? I was sure that's where he was going.
Absentee ballots are fine.
Yes.
Absentee ballots are fine.
Great.
Like I live in the White House. And if I can't get Florida, or you live wherever you live, you can't. But you have to go through a process. Some people just can't make it to a polling station. And they have good reason, but they have to go through this process in order to verify their identity. People went to the polls and voted during World War I. They went to the polls and voted during World War II. We can safely go to the polls and vote during COVID-19.
You can't even safely hold a rally in Phoenix. 8 of your staffers got COVID in Oklahoma.
And there is tremendous evidence of fraud whenever you have mail-in ballots. And frankly, if we are really going to protect our elections, and some people don't want to hear this, we must have voter ID.
Which will disenfranchise millions of Americans who have the right to vote. There is some fraud in every election. There's always some fraud. There's no widespread fraud. And
So as long
mail-in
as
ballots
I'm president,
reduces fraud.
America will be a land of fair laws, swift justice, and safe communities. And that's why when rioting and looting broke out in our nation's capital, I quickly deployed. I came in, I deployed the National Guard very quickly. Mark Meadows was there. We had a lot of our people there. We stopped the violence. We saved that incredible statue. You saw it last night. And restored peace and order to the streets, although I will tell you they did great damage to the cannons that were on the ground. They did great damage, but we'll get them fixed. We'll get them fixed. Lock them up, yeah, lock them up.
Let me show you guys this. Trump voted by mail. He played golf
Incredible
here.
how they can do it. Incredible.
He
But
could
they
have
did
voted
damage.
here.
We're lucky we
Golf
just got there
here.
in time. You saw the ropes going up? We got
This
there
is
just,
literally
and I'll
the
tell you,
eighth
law
hole.
enforcement did a great job. They rushed him.
He could have
They
voted
rushed him.
here on March 8th. Played golf here. Could have voted here. 3 minutes by car.
And these people fought back, and the law enforcement was much tougher, much sharper, much better. They really had no trouble handling them. It was like handling a baby for them. It was just like a baby. A lot of spoiled people in that group, you know, a lot of spoiled rich people saying, "What are you doing here?"
Says the guy who was hiding in his
I've
bunker.
also made clear that any rioters damaging federal property and defacing our monuments will face severe and lengthy criminal penalties, 10 years.
That was already a law. You didn't do anything to change that. You can't make laws.
Many of the young people here today have had your own encounters with left-wing extremists such as Antifa. Joining us today are two students from North Carolina State University, great place, great state, Chris Thomas and Jack Bishop. Please come on up, fellas. Come on up.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Good planning. Sit up in the last row.
How are you guys, Phoenix?
Oh, that's right. They have to stand at a separate
Awesome.
podium. Look at
Listen,
these
thank
kids.
you
They're
so
just like
much,
all the
Mr.
other kids with
President.
their
It's great to
baggy
be out here in
jeans.
Phoenix. This is the first time I've ever been here, and I've got to say it's been the experience of a lifetime.
Wow. Phoenix, the experience of a lifetime.
And listen, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I
Like
just
you.
want to say that conservative censorship on campus is real, and it's happening all across the country all the time. This past year at NC State, we were having an event, our Turning Point chapter was,
An event.
for Charlie Kirk and Laura Trump at her alma mater, NC State. And we were posting advertisements in our free expression tunnel where you're allowed to paint whatever you want. We were making some advertisements, and we had about 20 socialist thugs roll up from Antifa and from the Young Democratic Socialists of America.
Boo.
Now, for our
Okay.
trouble, of course, they rolled up and attacked us, and they started spraying all over the work that we had just done. And for my trouble, I stood the line and tried my best to keep them from defacing our ads. And for my trouble, I was spray painted in the eye.
Oh, that's no good.
Yeah. And unsurprisingly, of course, the school did nothing. There's a surprise. And
Hi,
they
Motley.
let Antifa run roughshod over our event. They let them in the room with us. They were protesting, screaming so loud that you could barely hear the speakers the entire time.
That's freedom
And
of
of course,
assembly. That's
NC
in the
State, like
Constitution.
many administrations across the country, does the will of the radical left.
By letting you have an event?
Meanwhile, conservatives across the country
they tricking me?
are punished and blacklisted merely for expressing our own opinions.
Were
We're
you?
ostracized and ousted with no support whatsoever from the administration.
Okay, but were you blacklisted?
But let me tell you, when
Okay.
administrations across the country do the will of the left and cater to the mob, it's our duty as conservatives to stand up and to fight for our rights and to fight for our nation and to fight for our God.
Okay, were you censored? Because it doesn't sound like you were censored. You had an event. Why are you here? Am I missing something?
And you know, Mr. President, my dad, Congressman Dan Bishop, he likes to say that you like to say that he's not a choker. And let me tell you, Mr. President, us college conservatives, we ain't chokers neither.
What's going on, Kelly? How can I help? No, his dad's a congressperson.
We're going to win this election. We're going to take back the House. We're going to keep the Senate. And we're going to get 4 more years of the best presidency of my lifetime. The
breast presidency.
Of Donald J. Trump.
He's trolling Trump right now. I want the breast presidency. Hillary.
Thank you.
Hillary.
God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.
Oh, he wrapped it up well. All right, go to the taller version. I don't know.
Mr. President,
thank
thank you so much. It is an honor to be here with you today.
Tell us how you were censored.
Thank you for giving attention to our situation when the mainstream media back there wouldn't touch the story. Conservatives across this country are treated different every day by their professors and other students on campus.
Differently? Yeah.
I was mocked by a leftist on my campus, not for my conservative beliefs, but for a medical condition I have that impacts my hair growth and my ability to sweat.
Okay.
I learned that when these leftist ideas fail, they resort to personal attacks because they have no facts to back up their radical beliefs. Imagine how much of a fit the mainstream media would have thrown if 15 to 20 kids in MAGA hats had come up and spray painted a kid in the eye and made someone else for a medical condition they have.
That's terrible.
Our school,
Nobody's
North Carolina State,
that.
did not do anything about this. They didn't discipline them, and it was no coincidence that the Antifa logo showed up on the Free Expression Tunnel the next day.
So we don't know that they were Antifa. That actually could be
we are
coincidence.
blessed to have a president
you just
like
started
you
talking
devoted
about
to
not having
free
facts,
speech on college campuses.
and you're doing
thank
conflation.
you, President Trump and Students for Trump. Let's keep America great.
Okay, somebody is going to send this to that kid. Good, you're on the right track. That you want to deal in facts, but then you can't bring in conflation right after that. Stick to only facts.
Great job, fellas. Thank you.
Are they good-looking kids?
So, I signed an executive order, as you know.
He hates them.
And based on what I'm just hearing, you should maybe be talking to Charlie or somebody around here about defunding that school, because that's don't do that.
Charlie
That's
Kirk is in charge of defunding schools?
The executive order was based on. So you talk to the people. Maybe have your father call. His father's a great congressman, done a great job. So say hello to him. But you talk to them. That's exactly what it was for. We did something that was radical, but it wasn't radical to me. You have to be heard. And if you can't be heard, let's talk about it, okay? As the radical left inflict violence on American streets, they're also waging war on timeless American values like freedom of speech, which is what we're just talking about. Anyone who dares to speak the truth is canceled, censored, deplatformed, fired, expelled, harassed, abused, boycotted, deprived of a livelihood, or even physically assaulted. Those times will be changing very soon. You can judge a movement by its behavior, and the young patriots here today don't destroy property. You don't burn buildings. You don't punish dissenters. And you don't try to erase the people with whom you disagree.
Wow.
It's called
I gotta show you guys
civilized
this.
people. You're civilized people.
Now there's an ad. I gotta show you guys. The last speaker who claims he was spray painted in the eye by Antifa.
And yet, remember I said this. You're civilized, but you're much
Wait
tougher
for this.
than the other side. You're much tougher.
I gotta wait through that. Hold on. I want to show you this poor kid and what happened.
You conduct yourselves with honor, integrity, and dignity because you know the truth, the facts, and the history all on your side. We're joined today by Reagan Escota, a student at Northwestern State University of Louisiana. Reagan became a target of liberal.
Okay, I hope that stays. It might skip ahead on us. Who cares? It's just all nonsense anyway. So I wanted to show you guys the video here. Let me bring in the screen. This is the kid who was just talking right there. So this is him claiming that he was spray painted in the eye by Antifa. Now, these kids are spray painting something on what looks like a commons wall where everybody can put whatever they want to put up there, and that's fine. So, sounded like from his speech that a bunch of Antifa thugs came up, stopped him from making his art and advertising for his event, and held him down and spray painted him in the eye. This is the video of him getting spray painted in the eye. Let's take a look here. Okay, he's standing up against the wall. People are spray painting, and he's talking to them. I don't know if we can get audio here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find audio on this feed. Nope. Yeah. How about this? Let's see if there is audio. Going back. There we go. So he's standing. They're trying to spray paint around him here, and he's standing in the way of the people spray painting him. Clearly Antifa. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Let me get out of the way. I'm sorry. Look at this girl right here. I mean, she's got the Antifa logo. No, okay. Well, let's keep rolling.
Okay. Man, imagine being this tough, honestly.
So they're trying to spray paint the wall, and he's just standing in the way of them spray painting the wall. Maybe he's trying to protect. Oh, I see what's happened. So this is a wall where you can just spray paint whatever you want, and they spray painted an ad for their event with Charlie Kirk and Lara Trump and everything. And so these other students came in and decided, well, we're going to paint over that and paint our thing, which is how these walls typically work. You have freedom of expression, and so do they. That's the way it works. When they're done, go back, paint your ad again, or put it somewhere that people won't paint over it. So here it is. So he's done with the one. Now he's going to get right in the way of the other Antifa member, and she's spray painting by his head because she was busy spray painting something. Watch carefully. I'm gonna make myself disappear here. Hold on. Okay, I'm gone. Thank God. Here we go.
Imagine being that tough. Smells great. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. That's about right.
That was it. He leans into the spray paint. Let's watch it again. He's literally asking for her to spray paint him.
There it is. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's right.
He sniffs it up. I appreciate it. Sniffs it up and gets some spray paint in the eye.
It smells great.
She says, how's it smell? He says, smells great.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
So she sprays some up to his nose as he puts his nose over to smell it and gets some spray paint in the eye.
That's about right. Spray paint is great.
After saying that it smelled great. So, how could he have avoided being sprayed in the eye, kids? Goddamn Antifa. Boy, that was not how I imagined that video was going to be. Anyway, probably a great kid. Son of a congressman.
Cancel culture when she dared to stand up for her Christian values instead of bowing to political correctness. Reagan, please come up and say a few words, please.
Smells great. Oh, we're waiting on this next one. Oh, here we go. Cancel culture.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for being here today with all of us and for inviting me up here to tell of my experience with cancel culture.
She's going to be on Fox.
My name is Reagan
Escaday.
I graduated from Northwestern State University of Louisiana in 2019, and I started my first job at a small private insurance company in Louisiana. A few weeks ago, amidst all this chaos that we're seeing with the Black Lives Matter movement, I made a video on my Instagram, and I talked about how disappointed I am in the church's reaction to the Black Lives Matter movement. I've seen pastors call for white congregants to kneel and to apologize for the skin that God gave them. And I addressed the evangelical pastors and leaders and reminded them that racism is a problem in the heart. It is a sin problem that cannot be resolved by any law, protest, or march. Of course, my leftist followers didn't appreciate this message at all. I had my name blasted all over social media. And people told me, you know, I'm ashamed to have ever called you my friend. I've lost all respect for you. I love y'all. And so an ex-coworker of mine made a post on Facebook about me, calling me racist and homophobic. And she listed my place of employment and called for people to call my employer and have me fired. There were death threats made to the owners. There were threats to knock down the building. Law enforcement had to get involved. And due to the crazy reaction from the leftist mob, my employer told me that they came to the conclusion that they needed to terminate my employment.
That's the free market.
But here's the thing.
Goddamn capitalism. She got hired by Fox 8 seconds later. It's
Losing
fine.
my job is a small price to pay when God's name is being glorified.
What part was glorifying God?
And he will always make his name known.
Did I miss that part? Guys? Anybody hear glorification of God in there?
But I share this story with you. I share this story with you because what happened to me is just a small example of something that's happening on a much larger scale in our nation. Aunt Jemima was canceled. And if you didn't know, Nancy Green, the original first Aunt Jemima, she was a picture of the American dream. She was a freed slave who went on to be the face of the pancake syrup that we love and have in our pantries today. She fought for equality, and now the leftist mob is trying to erase her legacy. And might I mention how privileged we are as a nation if our biggest concern is a bottle of pancake syrup?
I don't think that's our biggest concern. Was anyone losing sleep over
And more
Aunt Jemima?
recently, we're seeing a call for statues of Jesus Christ to be torn down.
I haven't seen that, but okay.
Now, I'm a little confused here because last week Jesus was a social justice warrior, and this week he's the face of white supremacy.
He wasn't
and
white.
Jimmy Kimmel has been calling our president racist for years, and it turns out he's the racist.
Oh, how so?
There's governors that are getting away with wearing blackface.
Oh, that's that.
That's just sliding under the radar.
Okay.
So I want to encourage you all to stand firm in your beliefs. We need truth. We need hard, cold facts and truth now more than we ever have before.
Trump
and we
is
are
gonna
so
love
blessed
her.
to have a president who stands on the front lines, walks through the fire every day to fight for our God-given American freedoms.
She wants to join in the chant. It's awkward as a speaker.
Do not apologize to the mob. And thank you, President Trump, for never apologizing to the mob, for always standing firm.
He just apologized to all the women.
For being here for the American people and for fighting for our best interests, because you are the change that we need to see in America. Thank you.
He's been there for 3 years. We have 16.3% unemployment. We have 120,000 dead Americans. I didn't think we needed to see that change. Maybe I'm confused.
Thank you, Reagan. That was beautiful. You know, as your story reminds us, Reagan, true courage is defying the left's orthodoxy, not submitting to. We don't submit. Nobody should be submitting. Because
unless you have a
winning
magazine
and
with
we're
his
going
picture
to
on
win,
it, and then.
But you don't submit. The fake news, progressive companies right there, they're right back there watching us.
Of
and
course,
other
your name is Reagan. Good
institutions
call, Random.
merely towing the left-wing line have sacrificed their intellectual credibility and
Turning
professional
Point
integrity.
is,
They have very little integrity left. Some of them have none.
Kirk.
You're the ones taking real risks. You show.
And several other youth organizations have come out with statements against Turning Point because they inflate their numbers and claim to have chapters at colleges that don't exist. So other youth organizations really hate Turning Point. But Charlie Kirk tweets endlessly about the Democrats and Pelosi and the president and how great the president is, and so the president loves him.
I don't even think they're hiding it anymore. To protect our democracy, I signed an executive order to remove legal protections
Kelly, I
for
hate you for
social
that
media
visual.
companies that unjustly censor American citizens.
So someone named Muttley keeps having his messages blocked by YouTube. Muttley, if you don't want to have your messages blocked, stop being a
The
douche.
radical left is also working to eliminate free speech on our college campuses. With us today is Nia Moore, a student at the University of St. Thomas in Minnesota, who has experiences persecution firsthand. Nia, please come up, please.
His experiences? Persecutions? Okay, here's Nia now. She's gonna get spray painted in the mouth, I'm guessing. Like, there's idiots on both sides. There's plenty of liberal idiots.
First, I just want to say thank you to Mr. President for having me on stage today.
Okay, I'm sure he was the one who arranged all of this for you.
So, if you didn't know much about Minnesota about a month ago, I'm sure you've seen us in the headlines over the past few weeks. The DFL is successfully moving our state farther to the left more and more each day. Now, that isn't because people aren't conservative in Minnesota. It's because they're hell-bent on demonizing us at every turn. I began my career working in politics with Turning Point USA.
The Democratic Farmer Labor Party.
Unfortunately, due to the leftist culture of my campus at North Hennepin, we were shut down almost immediately and were refused official recognition. I was told by the faculty that political groups were not welcome on campus. However, they had multiple leftist groups that supported the Black Lives Matter movement, they were pro-abortion, and they advocated for Bernie Sanders. I know.
That's free speech.
Our governor, the mayor of Minneapolis, and the representative of the 5th Congressional District in Minnesota are all Democrats. But for whatever reason, the Republicans and the president take the blame for what has taken place.
Marcy, you're forgetting they have super air conditioning. It's magical.
Unfortunately, the murder of George Floyd has created absolute chaos in my state of Minnesota. They have... Sorry, I lost my place.
You should go to attack George Floyd right now? That's not necessarily a good call. Is he trying to be the next Candace Owens?
Ever since the murder of George Floyd, I have not seen as much division, deceit, and destruction in my life.
Uh-huh.
Black Lives Matter only makes a scene during election years. How convenient that they made the biggest scene of all during the year of the most important election of our time.
You're like, what, 16?
Black Lives Matter is only about police brutality once every 4 years. In between,
that is not true.
They're heavily funding a push for leftist and LGBTQ plus agendas.
Okay.
The black community's culture is naturally very conservative, so they mask their hidden agendas and play on the community's biggest fear.
Okay.
If Black Lives Matter truly cared about black lives, they would not have allowed the riots to destroy black businesses and black communities.
What would Black Lives Matter have done? Is Black Lives Matter, is it a police force? Are they the National Guard?
If they cared about black lives, they would defund Planned Parenthood.
Okay, so this is an anti-abortion screed. These are rioters.
If Black Lives Matter cared about black lives, they would address the astronomically high numbers of black-on-black crime in inner cities.
Wow. Well, that's because that's where black people live.
They try to paint us as the bad guys for not supporting the organization.
No, they're trying to paint the white guys at North Carolina.
Black Lives Matter. I think there's very few conservatives that believe black lives don't matter. We do believe Black Lives Matter. We just believe they all matter, not just the lives the left chooses to exploit. I am the field director for Ilhan Omar's challenger, Lacey Johnson.
Well, good luck.
He is the first Republican in Minnesota to have Black Lives Matter activists and lifelong Democrats want to hear what he has to say. Because of that, they've tried to silence us at every turn. People are fed up and they're getting nervous. They will stop at nothing to keep their hold on us, even if that means lying to the very people they're supposed to represent. Mr. President, I just want to say thank you for being a great example of a big tent Republican. The president has never needed the black vote to win, but he has still done incredible work with prison reform, lowering black unemployment, funding HBCUs, and stimulating the black community with opportunity zones. All without pandering. Once upon a time, the president asked the black community what we had to lose. We didn't have anything, but now we do.
Except our lives, and 45,000 of us are dead
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Well, good for her. That's a learning experience.
Well, Nia, I want to just tell you, first of all, thank you very much. And so heartfelt. I could see that. And I also issued a historical executive order defending free speech, and all of this is on college campuses. And I will tell you that it's something that's being used by people like Charlie and used very well. And it's opening up a whole new voice. And it's my honor to have done it under my order. Any college that refuses to let you speak stands to lose billions of dollars in terms of the overall system.
Yeah, no college receives billions of dollars.
So we've done a lot. We've really gone very far. We've taken it to a level that nobody's ever taken it, and it's my honor to have done it. It's people like you that I do it for. When you think about it, it's people like you. You're going to be the ones. You're going to be the ones that are at the crossroads
not from the federal government
of history. That's where you are right now. You're at a crossroads. Everything our forefathers built, everything generations past, they shed their blood to defend, the very survival of our freedoms, our rights, and our republic. They're all at stake. This is a very big time in our country. It's a time like perhaps no other. But standing here before you today, I have never been more confident that America will rise to new heights of greatness and glory.
Muttley,
because your generation is proving that your hearts are filled with the fire
to students
and the fervor of true American patriots.
Billion. Sure. Hey guys, is Muttley a troll? Is that what's going on here?
The great spirit of righteous defiance stirs deep within you. I see that.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
It's the same spirit that drove America's founders and frontiersmen, people that built our nation, people that succeeded, people that worked hard, people that failed. People that failed. Some people failed and then they made it bigger than anyone would have ever believed possible. To defend all of your liberties, to secure
anybody want to be a moderator?
Your independence and establish this noble fortress of freedom.
On YouTube, spirit if you're on YouTube, I can make you a moderator.
Compels each of you to stand strong against the dull, mindless, soul-crushing conformity mandated by far-left pundits, professors, and liberal politicians. They're taking our country in the wrong direction.
Leftists don't believe in souls.
And it's the same fierce and untamed American spirit that will lead the young, patriotic Americans of this generation to serve our country, and you will serve it well. You will serve it so well. Together we will restore our economy
be nice to Danielle.
quickly.
She's a moderator.
We will rebuild our nation, We will revitalize our cities. We will take back our universities and colleges.
Take back?
And we will preserve the America we love for you and for your children. We will defend our values, our voices, our faith, our heritage,
He's almost
our
falling
borders, our
asleep
rights,
here.
and our God-given freedoms. Calling on the boldness and bravery of your generation,
producer Debbie.
we will unite citizens of every race and color, religion and creed as one people, one family, and one extraordinary nation under God.
Souls go so well with avocado toast. Yeah, he's really sweating it up, even with the magical air conditioning.
And with your help, this moment will be a turning point in American history.
He said
that
our
will
name.
be remembered and
It's like Peter
celebrated
Griffin.
for generations to come. For our young people, for our economy, for our communities, and for our beloved country, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
I hope
God
so.
bless you, and God
I mean,
bless
God
America.
awful.
Thank you very
2020
much.
has been an absolute pisser so far. Yeah. Okay, so that was Corona Bowl 2. Just more of the same stuff. Guys, go out. Go out and wear a mask if you get near people. Go out, have a good walk in the sunshine. I don't know what's happening tomorrow. I don't even care at this point. It's all the same. We'll cover the next Corona Bowl as well. He's going to go to Florida at some point. Once again, this is what's going on in Arizona right now. Oh, wait, that's not Arizona at all. Hold on. If you want me, guys, before we go, if you want me to check your state, let me know and we'll do that. It keeps getting worse. Can your mic be turned up? Mine can, yeah. I just turned his off. There we go. Let's turn this up. That's my mic. He was louder than he usually is because, oh, here we go. Here's the Fox live stream. This is what the Fox live stream looks like. 2 blondes on Fox News? That's weird. Yeah, that chick who testified, she's going to be on Fox News within 2 years, I guarantee you. The Billy Joel, yeah, do you want to do Billy Joel, Rich? While you're here, let's do Billy Joel. Everybody, if you're not a Billy Joel fan, check out for about, I don't know, 30 seconds. Let's see, can we do this? I think we can. Here it is. Billy Joel Madness presented by Rich Mack. Let's take a look at the board. I got to pull this up now. Hold on. This is for you, Rich. Let's type in the old hashtag Billy Joel Madness. Billy Joel Madness. And holy crap! That can't be right. This is the Sweet 16, the first round of the Sweet 16. And I don't know if you guys can see what happened there. Boom. There it is. Don't ask me why. Tied with The Stranger, 50-50. So we're going to have to go to overtime with that. So, okay, now here's another chance to vote. Let me do this. Give me a second here, guys. So I am going to fix that. And I think the theme song's about to play again here. Nope, it didn't. Okay, good. Let me tweet this out. And Sweet 16, Billy Joel Madness, overtime. And I gotta do this. No, wait, it's Don't Ask Me Why. Don't. Oh, it remembered it. Don't Ask Me Why versus The Stranger. You remembered it? Poll length is one day because it's 5 o'clock here, so that gives everybody 24 hours to vote. I got to fill in the full bracket thing. Give me a second. I'll do that over on this screen. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Okay. And so everybody, once I press this, go vote for Don't Ask Me Why or The Stranger. And we'll get going again on the whole Billy Joel thing because producer Rich is going to pull his funding on this if I don't get going on Billy Joel Madness. And after Billy Joel Madness, Cheese Madness. Okay, let's see if I can even remember how to get back in here. There's the bracket. Share via link. Copy. Paste. I apologize if you guys can hear the dryer. For some reason, someone left the laundry room door open. Meddling kids. Here we go. Boom. Now you can go vote for Don't Ask Me Why versus The Stranger. That's Billy Joel Madness for today. That's the first game of the Sweet 16, so this could take a long time. We're going to be done with this by the apocalypse. Okay, let's go back to the other screen. We'll get rid of that. Now we're on Twitter. So did anybody else? Cheese Madness, fuck yes. That is the first time in history that phrase has ever been uttered, Lizzie. Let's go back to the list of all the states. Does anybody want to see their state before I hang up for the night? This is so fun. I'm glad you're having a good time, Lizzie. Hey, if you guys want to help make nonsense like this happen and fact-checking and the live stream, please go to kevinleefather.com, and there you can become a producer like Rich, or producer Joanna, or producer Debbie, or producer Deborah. I'm sure I'm forgetting another producer. Marcy and Maurice both became upgraded resistors today, so that's important. The two of them are so funny. Every time Marcy puts something in the chat over there, she makes some good jokes. It's usually Maurice is like on the couch going, Hey, Marcy, make a joke about the chick on the TV, right? And then she does it, and then we all laugh, and so clever. But that's the secret between Marcy and Maurice. We love them both. We appreciate them. Texas, you don't want to see Texas. Trust me on this. Let's take a look at the Tejas. 302% increase. You guys are going in the wrong direction. And that's not just because of testing in Texas. Hospitalizations are also increasing. But Governor Abbott there in Texas is saying, hey, we got plenty of hospital beds. So that's what I do. I just push things until they break. Or I take apart my dad's LED calculator with the red LED and then see if I can put it back together and see if it works. It didn't. Florida's not looking good. Are you guys in Florida? Who said that? Lisa, you're not even in Florida, Lisa. Or are you? Maybe, I don't know. I forget. Florida, 409%. That's going in the wrong direction. Anybody else? Your firstborn lives in Texas. Maurice says, do Hawaii. Yeah, I love that you play along. Okay. Oh, God damn it. Hawaii is up 627%. You guys had this thing down pat, and there was a 2-week quarantine, which has now been extended through July. So if you fly to Hawaii, you have to stay at home. And in Kauai, according to producer Joanna, people left during the quarantine and went shopping, and they got arrested at the shopping center because the cops knew it's a small enough island on Kauai that the cops know if you're supposed to be staying home. So Hawaii, no good. Michigan, let's bring up Michigan, then we'll do California. Michigan. Oh, good for you, Michigan. You're creeping back up again, but yeah, God damn it, everybody's creeping back up again. You're still down 5% overall, but look at your trajectory there. That's not good. California's doing terrible, but a lot of that is having to do with testing. I will bring California down so you can see it, kids. There it is. Not going in the right direction, and the last few days of 7-day average is not looking good. That is an upward slope. Hospitalizations in California have not started to spike upward yet, but we may see that. That's because they are doing a lot of testing in LA. In LA, if you want to get tested, you can get tested, regardless of symptoms. They have plenty of tests because Governor Newsom sucks up to Trump. Pennsylvania, and then we'll do Mass. Penn, there it is. Pennsylvania looking good until then. Let's do Mass. M-A-S-S. Massachusetts doing great. Good job, Massachusetts. How's my state, Washington? We've been creeping up the last few days. Let's see how we're doing today. Oh, wow. Man. So these were the protests. I don't know if that's a correlation there. But here we were having the protests, and you would figure 7 to 10 days later we would see a spike because of the protests being outdoors, which is what Mark Levin and all the conservatives said was what was going to happen. And on top of that, all the protesters can get tested in Washington. If you're just asymptomatic, you can't get tested. If you're asymptomatic and you went to a protest, You can get tested. And yet, okay, something weird here. Yeah, this is what's happening here. We did have a spike, and this is a 7-day average, this red line, but you can't pay attention to it because there's obviously some missing numbers right here. That is not accurate. So we're going to have to wait a week or two to see what's going on with Washington. Signing out, Kelly, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again. Oh yeah, in Yakima in Washington, it's absolutely severe. The Yakima County hospitals are full. They are shipping patients over to the nearby hospitals, and it's about 3 hours from here, and it's almost to the point where they're going to start shipping patients to Seattle. So if Seattle does see a spike, that's very bad because Seattle will run out of hospital beds. We asked for the Mercy or the Comfort, whichever one of them is on the West Coast, and then Newsom got it. We never got one of the hospital ships, but we might need it if this continues to spiral. Well, say hi to your brother for me, Rich. Anybody else? 5 days Oklahoma, we're going to see spikes. Yeah, let's find out what's going on with Oklahoma right now. It was terrible. It will continue to be terrible. Yeah, there's Oklahoma. Nothing's changed. They had a low day yesterday, but that's just a reporting anomaly. That's it, kids. I've run out of words. All right, I have brand new credits. I think everyone is accurate in there. Watch the credits. If you're not accurate in there, let me know and I'll adjust it. Marcy and Maurice are both in there on 2 different levels because I know you guys are going through some stuff and I didn't want to mix and mingle. So the closing credits are coming up in just a second. If you'd like to get into the closing credits and help me do stuff like this and many other plans that we've got and also participate in making these things happen, love to have you on board. Quick shout out to everyone who's watching but isn't in the chat room. We love you too. Especially those of you who are patrons. And if you'd like to be a patron, kevinleefather.com is the best way to do that. Or if you'd like just to make a one-time donation, paypal.me/KevinLeeDad. Thank you very much, everybody. You got me through this, and I appreciate it, and it's a pleasure, and I'm all out of words, and my voice is almost gone. So please, enjoy the closing credits, courtesy of all the wonderful patriots who are patrons.